Well, finally tonight, it's no secret today's housing market is highly competitive. So much so, millions of Americans who thought they could afford a new home are being completely priced out, often competing with all cash offers well above asking prices. Rents are skyrocketing too, all across Western New York. And today, according to our partners at Buffalo Business First, there's real concern about this happening in East Buffalo. And joining us to talk more about this tonight is Dr. Henry Louis Taylor Jr. He's the director of the Center for Urban Studies at the University of Buffalo School of Architecture and Planning. Dr. Taylor, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, we want to start by giving our viewers an idea of what's happening here. According to Business First, the average sale price of a single-family home in East Buffalo has risen 63% in the last 5 years. The neighborhood boundaries are Main Street to the west, Bailey Avenue to the east, East Delavan Avenue to the north, and William Street to the south. And according to data from the Buffalo Niagara Association of Realtors, the average price increased from $59,000 in 2018 to $96,000 as of May 30th, essentially pushing people who have lived there for their whole lives really right out of their own neighborhoods. So we wanted to ask you to start, what are the factors that are contributing to this? And are we approaching a crisis here, or are we already there?
I think the dynamics that we're looking at in a certain section of the East Side and the area that the realtors are defining, that's only a portion of the East Side. But in that portion of the East Side, I think what you're seeing is the emergence of gentrification. There's been a significant rise in the white population over the last decade. And as our analysis go, as the percentage of whites in a community increases, the values go up. And what you're looking at is this increase in whites. So if we look at the area below Best Street on the north, all the way to Williams on the south, that area is now predominantly white and Asian. African Americans are no longer the dominant population in that area. And it's driven by the growth of the white population. The Asian population is still under 5,000, but a combination of that versus whites has now made that area of the East Side below Best Street predominantly white and Asian. So as that white population increases across that lower portion of the East Side, values are going up. And in the same period, we've seen a decline in the Black population on the East Side as African Americans are being pushed out of the city of Buffalo.
You authored a study in 2021 that really warned of this exact thing happening. The study is called The Harder We Run. How would you sum up some of the key findings of that study then?
We discovered that one of the major things driving hardship among African Americans was this thing called substandard housing, which represents a combination of rent gouging and unhealthy homes. So the majority of Blacks on the East Side are renters. The majority of them are renters, about 68%. They have low incomes, under $30,000 a year. And they're charged 40, 50, 60% of their income on housing. And so as they're being pushed out of the neighborhoods and the communities, we're seeing coming into the community those whites who are priced out of the market in North Buffalo and Elmwood and in other sections of the city. They're moving into those areas. Another critical problem that we saw in that study was the massive issue of vacant lots, unkept vacant lots. Now, the city says that they tore down many of the old houses in these areas to solve the abandoned housing problem. The issue was they have solved the abandoned housing problem and created the equally bad vacant lot problem when they could have done something that's very different. So now we are facing a situation where it's imperative that Blacks are able to gain control over East Side lands through a community land trust so that they can guard against displacement in that community by being in a situation to control development. We have been in a crisis situation and we remain in that crisis situation. And unless something is done, the East Side will be developed, but not for the people who are living there.
It's such an important conversation. We unfortunately have to leave it there for now. Dr. Henry Taylor Jr. with the University at Buffalo School of Architecture and Planning, thank you again for your time in discussing this with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.